to the Doomsday Report. Now, I'm being joined, well, by a very tired Melvin Messiah.
Alright.
How's it going, guys?
Not bad.
Now, I just got you set upstairs, and what can I say? This is the first time I've seen you live myself, and wow. Yeah, you're loud, you're loud.
Yeah.
You know, so how long have you guys been around?
In our current
abridged version.
In our current state, in our current lineup, I don't know when did we start?
Yeah, well, it was the tail end. It would be like sort of summer 2019, I think we started. Was it?
Yeah, but as a band, we've existed since 2012.
Right.
But we were originally a three-piece, and we were a stoner rock band, but we were like kind of middle of the road.
Yeah.
And then we kind of found our feet, added some fucking black metal.
See, I actually like that.
Shit up loud as fuck.
It's like an interesting combination, you know,
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah.
You know, it works. And see, another thing that I noticed is obviously the lack of bass player.
Yeah.
You know, how do you find that when writing your songs?
Well, Mark has had these songs since 2012, I take it,
Yeah.
or before that.
More or less, yeah. I mean, we started, like the most recent one we wrote was the last one that we played out with, which is the most black metal one, I suppose.
Yeah, that's heavy.
And that's got all the hallmarks of black metal, I guess, like the tremolo and what have you, and the blast beats and shit. We try and incorporate that into everything, but in terms of like a lack of bass, I think.
Yeah.
They just don't get on with extra people. Like one person's enough.
Before I joined, you were a two-piece with another drummer, weren't you?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then he left, and then I had, I think I mentioned just before we started, I played in another band, and Mark used to put on gigs, and we played in Dunfermline for one of his gigs, and Mark, actually, you kicked the gig off that night playing those songs just on his own with an electric guitar,
And the drummer
just screaming the lyrics and playing the distorted guitar, but no one else behind him, just him. And I was like, fucking hell, that takes a lot, you know, that's fucking gnarly, you know.
So,
and then we played, and it was a good gig, and then like years passed, and as I say, 2019, he put on something on Facebook going, I just want a drummer. It doesn't have to be a good drummer, I just want a drummer. And I was like, I remembered the riffs and the songs from that gig, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna say yeah. You know, why not?
So how long in time was there before, like, obviously that, and then, so was it just 2012 and then you stopped in 2012?
No, we continued.
Constantly doing it, yeah.
But we were a three-piece, and then we kind of fell by the wayside a little bit, and we were going to get it back together. But it was just like it wasn't really going anywhere. Because we were like a really small fish. We didn't have the contacts that we can do now, that we've got now. Now we just phone up Duncan Mountain, for example, and say give us a gig. We don't even ask him that. We just say give us a gig, and he goes, yeah, okay, no bother. Where do you want it? But it's hard as a beginning band if you don't know anybody like in the industry, like venue owners and promoters and stuff, to even get out there. So we were like banging our head off a brick wall, you know.
You being a promoter has helped as well, because you put on gigs and then you do gig shares and stuff like that. And
so that's how it sort of, when we got good, I guess. What I had that sort of kudos myself, because I had been inviting people to Dunfermline to play. So we've had all sorts of people, like we've had Dog Tired, we've had June playing Monty's. You know, like there's fucking nuclear blast now. They're a big fucking deal. So we found that I could sort of go to guys like, will you play with us? If you can sort us out with a gig in Glasgow or Dundee or Aberdeen or fucking whatever. So that's what we eventually did, and it worked out, but we don't feel. I just realised I've not answered the bass question properly.
Well, why do we not have a bass now? Now that
that's a player.
Yeah, now that we've got the songs together, I'm on the drums, we've got the songs that I sort of wrote, why don't we get a bass player? I think you know the answer to that question.
It's because we don't feel like we need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
so deep anyway.
If you hear that, like we're not traditionally like tuned to like a metal tuning or anything, because we're just one step down B standard. But I really like some of the older, like true black metal. Like the one that comes to mind is Ulver Nathan's Madrigal, right, which is renowned for just being treble, and it just sounds like a wasp fighting another wasp. It's like so first of all I tried to emulate that sort of, I thought that would sound like it more fucking troll cult, but it didn't really work. So what I ended up was, I've always liked these Ampeg amplifiers, and they're not bass amplifiers, they're guitar amplifiers made by Ampeg, but they don't make them very often. Sort of did them back in the day and they don't really do them anymore. So I've got old Ampeg amplifiers, and I've got one that's more powerful than the other one. So I use that one, the EQ is all set to bass, like, and that gives me my like sort of underlying heavy sound, if you like, and the other one handles more like the sort of your normal lead guitar tone, I guess. So those at the same time mixed in.
You're playing the bass at the same time as the guitar.
John like thumps the kick drum, and Tom's that heavy that the frequencies that you would get from bass would kind of bring them in anyway. Like like it sounds a lot more apparent like if you were to listen to it recorded, because we actually use 3 guitar amps at the same time for that, and if you listen to it in your car, like it makes your speakers move in the same way as a thumping bass line would, but it's not actually, obviously not a bass, like it's just.
So when we recorded the album, the guy that did it with us sort of mixed it, recorded it, and kind of produced it in terms of the fact that he came up with the idea of adding in the third. So it was his 2 Ampegs, and then the guy, Andy was like, why don't we stick an orange amp in the middle, and that'll be your mid-range, and it's also a different sounding amp. So Mark, for all intents and purposes, played 3 guitar sounds live in the room. Our album's a live album pretty much. There's no overdubs.
Then we just did the vocals over the top now, isn't it?
So I mean, it works. Why? Long answer to a question.
Works for us.
It works for us.
It might not work for like Dream Theater.
So in a nutshell, no bass player because you don't need it.
No, I
don't need one at the moment. No.
Sorry for the roundabout answer.
Do you play bass? Do you want to play bass?
Well, listen, bands like this make people like me obsolete.
Sorry, dude.
Working on a second album though, so you know.
Never know.
I'm trying to thought. How long did you say it was since you've been here? It's been a few years, you said.
It was the last time we played was in Glasgow, was the Garage Attic, I think, and it was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a hot venue, isn't it? Yeah. I mind playing there in, I think it was summer of 2018. I played there.
No, I'm not 10 years. It can't have been 10 years ago because we started in 2012, so it's only been 9 years.
Yeah.
Like 8 years ago or so, because that was when we were a 3-piece, when we had Scott on bass and Sharon on the drums. So those were the days.
And there's something else I want to discuss with you. Something we was talking about on Facebook actually, and that's the Fife scene. You know, I'm not in Fife anymore. You know, so obviously you guys would know more than me, but I thought myself there was like a lack of a scene, but you corrected me. You know, but I knew there was a lot of bands and a few venues, but not really a place for like a lot of metalheads to commune now that Monty's is gone.
Yeah.
You know, how do you feel that situation could be addressed with regards to having more bands come into Fife at venues?
I think somebody who's really into metal with fucking a fuck ton of money has got to buy a venue.
Or a venue's got to do it.
Yeah.
Venue's got to do it properly and just pay the bands and stuff like that. Because when you were putting on your gigs, it was a weird setup.
The thing is, like, it takes a lot to get people to come out in Dunfermline. I've only got experience of putting gigs on in Dunfermline, but when we put them on in Monty's, like, there just wasn't a budget to bring a big band there, and they could try and negotiate with the venue, and they do their best, but at the end of the day, like, they've got to pay their staff and all sorts, and it's not a big venue, so they couldn't sell 200 tickets in a 50 capacity place. You know, to cover bringing, I don't know, like King Witch or something like that, and paying them 300 quid. I don't know how much King Witch get paid, but I think they're worth that. So we'll sort you out if you want to come in Dunfermline.
What venues in Fife actually have the bigger stages and capacities? Windsor's got quite a big stage, isn't it?
We've got the Windsor in Kirkcaldy. We've got PJ Malloy's in Dunfermline, which is a venue, but it's not like a metal venue as such. You could hire it, but it's kind of prohibitively expensive. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I can't
Everything's so
remember.
spaced out, isn't it?
Yeah. But we have been building we sort of like recently we've been doing the grassroots thing above Cody's, which is not renowned for being a venue, but they've got a small room about the same size as Monty's upstairs.
Yeah.
And we put 3 metal bands on, 3 metal gigs on so far. I say we, like I attended them, but I didn't put them on.
Oh.
And it all went really well. Reasonably well attended.
We've played one as well.
Yeah, we played the second one. And it was a great night. People travel, but that's the thing with Fife Metalheads is they're happy to travel. Like you went to the Leaving gig the other night.
Oh, the one in Method.
I didn't because I was working, but it was. The problem is because Fife's always been like that though, because it's just a selection of villages here, and here. It's not all centralised.
Yeah.
If it was all joined together and it was a massive city, you'd probably see bigger attendance. But
Exactly.
unfortunately, you've got the same amount of metalheads in the county.
Yeah.
But there might be like a quarter of them in Kirkcaldy, a quarter of them in Glenrothes. You know, it's not even easy to get from Dunfermline to Kirkcaldy.
No, I mean it's alright if you've got a car.
Unless you're driving, because like public transport is.
It's a fucking joke. I mean, our last bus is what, back at 9 or something from Kirkcaldy to Glenrothes, and that was a problem that I was having. Anyway, off of that subject. Plans for next year with regards to new recordings, tours, videos, blah blah blah, that sort of stuff.
What do you think, John?
Got
Rona!
Got the
Not that again.
We are. What are we doing first? Oh, I was just talking about the 1914 gig.
Yeah, we're
right,
supporting
Audio.
1914 at Audio.
Which is crazy.
Which blew his mind more than it blew mine, but it blew mine too, because I was like, what?
I just, I've listened to them on fucking Amazon Music before.
Yeah.
How did you land that gig?
Just luck, skill.
Skill.
Two different things. Luck and skill.
I think it's a case of being like, you've got to put yourself across professionally.
Yeah.
If you're in this business, you can go in and you can break light bulbs and shit like what my wife was doing earlier on. But you're not going to
She's
get
a rock and roll one.
You're not going to get very far if you do that. But if you conduct yourself professionally, turn up on time, you're not a total diva, you put on a good show.
Yeah.
That sort of thing, like that's how what gets you noticed. And it just so happened that the guy putting on the gig knew of us through another band that he was also putting on, and all the stars collided in the right way. But it happened that we were now in a more powerful position because we've released our album, and people like our album, and we can send people towards our album and say, right, this is what we sound like. It's a bit looser on
Fucking buyers!
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like that, like goes on. And we're different. That's the thing. We've got that unique selling point.
Oh, well, that is. They are loud.
And we're noisy.
But yeah, that, and then we've started to write new stuff.
We've
That's
got
the
new
hardest
stuff.
part, but,
we've got one track. Right, maybe.
it may take a while because, as I say,
Getting
Mark's had these 6 songs that we play for nearly 10 years now.
It
So.
took me about a decade to write like 6 songs.
Yeah,
so
that may be a work in progress for a couple of years down the line, but
So maybe in a decade time you got another.
Maybe, but we're
second
not in
album
any
comes
rush,
out.
man. Like, thing is, we're already old. You know what I mean? Like, we're not young guys. So, like, that's just the way it goes. You know, I'm in my 40s. John's
nearly
a young buck.
No, still a pop.
That's what someone else said. Like, I'm 37, but
So in
Still
terms
up.
of like tours and stuff, we've got kids and stuff. Frankly, we've got better things to do than spend like a week on a bus and that. You know what I mean? So like we're limited by that. So what we're trying to do now is like go out and do bigger and more interesting stuff that appeals to us. We're kind of being selfish and a bit picky.
Yeah, I think it's like we're not in this for like to try and make it or anything like that. We're just
Just in it for worldwide domination.
well, yeah, that obviously, and then but just at the weekends, you know. But that's kind of it. Like I want to go down and play like Newcastle, Leeds, Manchester. We've played down in Birmingham before.
We played in Birmingham. We put our own gig on in Birmingham. We promoted it through Facebook Messenger, basically, in Scruffy Murphy's, and we sold it out.
Aye, nice one.
And off the back of that, that's what got us into Beermageddon Festival 2020. I think it was supposed to be, but obviously what happened with that, and that fucked up. So we had to wait for 2 years to even tell anybody. We're like, we're playing fucking Beermageddon, which was the festival.
So you're trying to keep that under lips, you know, that'd be hard.
And then we played it, and people loved us there as well. So like we're sort of organically growing slowly.
Growing your audience.
Slowly.
I don't think we could possibly do any more than just like a long weekender, you know. Like maybe if we can set something up in Glasgow, then go to Newcastle, then in Birmingham, and then back up to Dunfermline, or something, you know, like something like that. Then that's as kind of far and wide as we're gonna get. And you know,
it's a lot of travelling, isn't it?
It's just the time and stuff like that. We both work as well. It's not like this is our like we're just doing this. Our families are starving. We want to be in a niche metal band. But yeah, so we'll see what happens next year. But just whatever happens.
Now, if you was to say to anybody watching this who's never seen you or listened to you before, how would you describe yourselves to them to get them to come and listen to you or come and see you live or buy your merchandise? What would you say?
I've always said that he's the sort of black metal and I'm the sort of sludgy.
What makes you say that?
The sort of sludgier element to it. So I think we call ourselves sort of black and sludged.
Jazz doom.
Or jazz doom.
Sludge, jazz doom.
Yeah.
Just because I go a little bit crazy on the drum kit. I go a little bit Benny Goodman every now and again. A wee bit Gene Krupa.
Totally. And like it's definitely there. Like you can hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I love all the fucking Black Sabbath's drummer was pretty much a jazz drummer that just played in Black Sabbath. Like he just happened to find himself in
I know.
They didn't know they were a fucking heavy metal band when they were writing their albums. They just became a heavy metal band. So yeah, I like doing like switching it up, but then being able to go like doing the doubles and the blast beats. My blast beats are a work in progress, but I'll get them.
They're fucking good, man.
Get me a fucking sore neck right at the end.
Yeah.
Definitely got a groove going on. I think for me anyway, is the best thing about us is there's only two of us, and as long as we get on with each other, we can break as many rules as we like. So we don't follow. So our music is for people that don't like to just follow a easy route. Like they don't want to have your guitar through this amplifier with this specific pedal or effects unit or whatever. And like because that's the way that everybody does it. Like we're like the music for the other guys where it's a bit messy, it's loud as fuck, it's in your face. It's not hugely technically proficient guitar, but like it does the job. And we use like the wrong stuff. I don't use a plectrum. People always ask me about that.
A plectrum, just a big thumbnail.
Yeah.
You must have some calluses on your thumb, man.
I do. But that's because
just putting up shelves with it.
I was like, I just don't like people telling me what to do. It's like you should use a plectrum. It's like I just use whatever the fuck I want to use. Because I'm a fucking band. If you want to use a plectrum, then you fucking use a plectrum. If you want to use a valve amplifier, use a valve amplifier. I've got a solid state amplifier. In fact, I've got two. So fuck you.
Well, that's it then, I guess. So fuck you.
Yeah. So if you don't like that, fuck
fans
you.
of non-plectrum metal.
Well, that's it. That's been informative. Non-plectrum metal.
Exactly.
Black and jazz, sludge, non-fucking plectrum metal.
If you like it, heavy and noisy and a bit fucking off the wall, then fine. It's also music for people that don't take themselves too seriously because we're not that serious.
No.
Like we just play to entertain people and make them happy, and that's about the side of it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining me downstairs. It's been a pleasure chatting with you guys.
No problem at all.
And hopefully I'll get to see you in Fife at some point because I'm planning on coming across again because that gig in Maple was good. That was good.
Yeah, hopefully they'll invite us to the next one.
Alright. Well, what can I say? I've been Esteban, this has been Melted Messiah, and this has been the Doomsday Report. Keep it metal. Yeah.